Steve's idea was to try to make the most annoying song you can so in Saturday morning when kids turn the TV on and parents are trying to sleep, you have this pirate screaming in the other room for the kids to jump on the floor.
This is a guy known as Painty the Pirate. Those are my lips, but I don't sing the song. That's Pat Penny.
Well, she's a scientist, and she's big on adventures, so I think she just went down there to take a look around and, you know, find out all about the world that she didn't know in the ocean.
Kind of a biosphere experiment?
Yeah, definitely. She's, you know, a rare woman. Squirrel. She's spunky. I think she rocks. She does everything. It's great to see, you know, a girl who's got it all going on.
She's a squirrel to be reckoned with.
She really is.
I would have to say that the closest thing that I've smelled to it is when I was living in an apartment in San Francisco a few years ago, and we had some very strange neighbors, and occasionally you would just get hit with this smell, and nobody ever did find out who they were or what they were doing. Maybe it was the hash-slinging slasher. Ah! The great thing about having a snail for a pet, very low maintenance. They don't require much. They don't chase cars or run outside in the street when you have the door open because they can't. They just don't have the ability. You leave a bowl of food on the floor, and your snail is good for 2 or 3 years.
That smell was bad enough to rot away the walls, you know, so it's pretty corrosive. Even that wouldn't stop the smell.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad smell. You know, undersea things have an acute,
faster,
a lot of animals undersea have a very acute sense of smell, and so I imagine it was especially bad for those guys.
If you ever come across a little festering pond with different algae and things breaking down and fermenting, that would be the base. And then you'd have these little pockets of hideous odors exploding that would just be, I think, probably organic in nature, but something to be avoided at all costs.
You can describe accurately the stench. How disgusting. I mean, we'd have to talk later so I can describe it to you. It's that bad.
Good one, Patrick.
Well, maybe it's just because you're ugly.
Ugly? You gotta be kidding me.
Better try the reflection test.
Hi. Oh, no! I can't be ugly! I can't be ugly! I can't be ugly!
I think one of my favorite episodes is Ripped Pants, the one where SpongeBob rips his pants by mistake and gets a laugh out of it, and then overplays his hand by doing it one too many times, and people get bored with it, and he realizes that jokes have a lifespan. And I think that's something that happened to me a lot as a kid, where you would accidentally hit on something that was really funny, and you would just do it over and over and over again, and when people stopped laughing, it was kind of like a slap in the face. It kind of hurt. And then you had to go out and find something else stupid to get attention and laughs from your fellow classmates.
Who is Nosferatu? Actually, Nosferatu is not even his name. I think it's Count Orlok, and he was in a very old movie, an early version of Dracula, which was made a very long time ago, and everyone who's ever seen the pictures from this movie remembers them. They're really, really scary. And we figured we could use that. But we can't call him Count Orlok because no one knows that's what his name is. They only know the name of the movie, which is Nosferatu. Hence, Nosferatu.
This is what a natural dried up sponge looks like. So you can see it's a lot different than SpongeBob. But as far as sponges go, they are really bizarre and interesting. They, one of the things that I had heard about while teaching was that they've done experiments where they put a sponge, a living sponge, in a blender and they blend it up into a soup. And if you leave it overnight, it'll reform back into itself. So they're very strange animals. And in fact, they are animals, by the way. Some people think they're plants, but they're not. And so just the idea of the main character being about such a bizarre animal, I thought was funny.
Once upon a time when SpongeBob was running around the restaurant trying out all of the different things he could do at night, we had a different gag where he runs over to the floor, he rips up a section of floorboard and says, "I'm delivering the mail to Floorboard Harry." And there's a little guy under the floorboards who reaches up and grabs the mail and pulls it in. "Thanks. At night." And he slams the board down. And originally, this was going to be the end of the show. We used Nosferatu in the end, but once upon a time, Floorboard Harry was going to be the guy who was flicking the light switch. But we found out that Nosferatu was funnier.
I don't know. I've been sworn to secrecy. I can't go there. I just wouldn't feel right about it.
Well, all I know is that a lot of little seahorses have been disappearing lately.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
What is in the Krabby Patty recipe? We get hundreds and thousands of cards and letters from would-be fast food entrepreneurs that would love to find out that secret. We, the actors, do know, because in the course of our character research, we do have to actually make Krabby Patties. But when we took the job here, Nickelodeon made us sign reams and reams of disclaimers and paperwork saying that if we ever revealed any of the herbs and spices or any of the elements of the Krabby Patty formula, we'll be holding open auditions for your character the following Monday.
Well, we can't tell you, otherwise it wouldn't be a secret, right?
Exactly. Well guarded.
Yes. Even we don't know, I think.
So I'm not only the storyboard supervisor, but I wrote the song that we used in the Fun show. When we were writing the show, my friend Aaron and I, Steve gave us the idea to do a song, but he didn't give us very much guidance. He just told us to do something that had the word fun in it. So we started picking around with words, and he said, for example, that, okay, F is for friends, and U is for you and me, and that pretty much gave me the start. So we grabbed Steve's ukulele and just started picking out notes, and a little while later it came out to be like this. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all down here in the deep blue sea. F is for frolic through all the flowers. U is for ukulele. N is for nose pick and sharing gum and sand licking here with my best buddy. Of course, it didn't sound like that at the beginning, but after a few hours, we wound it into a nice little song.
Plankton's computer is actually his computer wife, Karen.
Yeah, anything Mr. Krabs can do to get people to work harder is new age management, I guess, to him. And touchy-feely.
Yeah, I think the joke in that case was that you know, he was having them give gifts and be brotherly, and you know, Mr. Krabs is probably uninterested in that unless, again, he can make money, make the employees work harder for less. You know, we don't take atomic explosions when literally we don't take them lightly, but they are so severe that I guess they're involved in satire here. The Bikini Bottom is named after, or supposed to be associated with Bikini Atoll in the South Pacific, where, you know, they did extensive atomic tests. So I'm not sure, but I think there is a relationship there. See, Squid belongs to some of those music societies,
Yeah,
right? The
probably...
clarinet, Undersea Clarinet Society.
And interpretive dance.
And yeah, he's
Club.
into interpretive dance and any kind of, you know,
Health food.
snobbery incorporated. He would be into.
Fancy. Yeah, he has a
Fancy Living. He subscribes to Fancy Living Digest. So anything that SpongeBob's not into, Squidward's probably into.
I don't hate SpongeBob at all. You know, he complains, he grouses, but deep down he has a respect and a like for SpongeBob. Every so often he'll hurt SpongeBob's feeling, and he goes, "Oh my goodness, I got to go make amends to him." You know, so he's got a good heart. He just covers it with this curmudgeon shell.
I knew it.
SpongeBob.
You do care.
No, I don't. I do not. That was just a cover. I don't.
When SpongeBob catches the jellyfish, and this is something that you should never try with an actual jellyfish in an actual beach setting, he milks them of their jelly, which he then spreads on bread and eats. This, of course, is all fact and based in truth and science. Yeah, it's interesting. SpongeBob's bed is made up of 3 mattresses piled one on top of the other, and people sometimes ask if this is because he has a bad back or back problems. The answer, of course, is he has no back. He's an invertebrate, completely spineless. So I think it's just a personal choice that SpongeBob makes.
His laugh is kind of a signature thing. His nose always kind of just accordions a little bit, and he goes, I just crack myself up.
I was thinking that SpongeBob needed a sport, even though he's kind of a dork and a nerd. He probably needed some kind of activity that he really liked. And I thought about, I guess, how when I was a kid, I liked collecting bugs, which isn't really much of a sport, I suppose. But I thought, well, what if he collected jellyfish, kind of like bees? They sting. They can inflict quite a welt, you know. And they also, in the show, they produce jelly, so they're a lot like bees in that the bees produce honey.
SpongeBob definitely thinks that Squidward is his friend. SpongeBob thinks that next to Patrick, Squidward is his best friend. SpongeBob is so positive and so up all the time that he has no idea. It would never even enter into his mind that anyone could dislike anyone else, let alone that Squidward could dislike him, SpongeBob. You know, SpongeBob is unconscious of the fact that he drives Squidward insane, because nothing drives SpongeBob insane. People often ask if SpongeBob wears the exact same pair of underwear in each and every episode, and I would have to say, mostly yes. You know, he buys 3 a year. They come in a little cellophane-wrapped 3-pack with the little cardboard card in the back, and that's it. That's it for the year. First of every year, he goes out and buys his 3 pairs of underwear for that year, and that's it. He doesn't buy any new ones. In this world, you are either a boxer man or a tighty-whities man.